Kaneki Ken didn't scream when Jason broke his fingers. He counted 1,000, 7, 1,000. 6, a coping mechanism, psychologists say, to dissociate from pain. But this wasn't just torture. It was the moment a shy book lover realized he'd become the monster society feared. His hair turned white, his mind fractured, and his humanity reduced to a number. Tokyo Ghoul's most infamous scene isn't just shock value, it's a clinical dissection of trauma's power to rewrite identity. Today, we analyze 6 anime characters whose most agonizing scenes didn't just define their stories, they redefined what trauma means in fiction. Strap in. This is Psychology Meets Anime Lore. Ken Kaneki, Tokyo Ghoul. The 1,000-7 torture. Kaneki's torture scene is a masterclass in psychological horror. Creator Sui Ishida, who studied neuroscience, designed Jason's 1,000-7 countdown to force Kaneki's mind to retreat into itself, a real phenomenon called dissociative numbing. The white hair? A nod to Marie Antoinette syndrome, where extreme stress halts melanin production. But Kaneki's true trauma isn't the pain. It's the irreversible loss of his human self. Post-torture, he embraces his ghoul identity, symbolizing how trauma can birth a new, fractured persona. But Kaneki isn't the only one who lost himself. Sometimes, trauma begins with losing someone else, violently. Eren Yeager, Attack on Titan. The death of Carla Yeager. Eren's mother, Carla, dies in Episode 1, but her death isn't just a catalyst. It's a psychological anchor. Creator Hajime Isayama revealed he drew Carla's crushed body to mirror his childhood fear of losing his own mother. For Eren, this moment plants a seed of rage that metastasizes into the rumbling. Psychologists call this fixated trauma, a single event so potent it warps all future decisions. Eren's genocide isn't madness. It's the endgame of a boy who never processed grief. Yet, not all trauma stems from loss. For Guts, it's about betrayal by the one person he called family. Guts, Berserk, the Eclipse. The Eclipse isn't just Berserk's darkest hour. It's a blueprint for betrayal trauma. Griffith's choice to sacrifice the Band of the Hawk, his found family, mirrors real-world abuse by narcissistic leaders. Guts survives, but his brand of sacrifice ensures demons hunt him forever. Miura designed this as a metaphor for PTSD. Triggers, demons, that force survivors to relive their worst moments. Guts' Dragonslayer sword? Not just a weapon, a 400-pound crutch to slash his nightmares away. But what if your trauma is handed down, not by enemies, but by the death of your own father? Thorfinn, Vinland Saga. Thor's last lesson. Thorfinn's father, Thors, dies teaching him a lesson. You have no enemies. But, in that moment, Thorfinn gains one. Himself. Historians note that Viking culture glorified vengeance, making Thorfinn's decade-long blood feud with Askeladd culturally inevitable. Yet, his eventual rejection of violence isn't weakness. It's a conscious rewiring of trauma, a concept modern therapy calls post-traumatic growth. His shovel, replacing his dagger, symbolizes rebuilding what rage destroyed. Trauma can also be a curse, one that loops endlessly, as Meliodas knows too well. Meliodas, the 7 Deadly Sins, Elizabeth's 106th death. Meliodas's curse isn't just tragic, it's sadistic. For 3,000 years he's watched Elizabeth die and reincarnate, her memories reset each time. Psychologists compare this to complicated grief, where closure is impossible. The Demon Clan's punishment forces him to relive loss until he either succumbs to despair or destroys the world. His cheerful facade? A survival tactic. Akin to real-world smiling depression, hiding agony behind a grin. But trauma isn't always violent. For Naruto, it's the silence that cuts deepest. Naruto Uzumaki, Naruto, the swing of solitude. Naruto's swing isn't just a prop. It's a symbol of childhood emotional neglect. Kishimoto based Naruto's isolation on his own struggles as a rejected artist. No birthday parties, no praise, just silence. Unlike others here, Naruto's trauma isn't a single event. It's a lifetime of micro-traumas, glares, whispers, closed doors. His eventual triumph as Hokage isn't about erasing pain. It's about proving that even the most shattered hearts can lead nations. Trauma in anime isn't just about tears or tragedy. It's about what comes after. Guts' defiance, Thorfinn's pacifism, Naruto's smile. These characters teach us that survival isn't moving on, it's moving forward, even when every step hurts. So, who's the strongest? The ones who turned their scars into strength? Drop a comment.